It is a great honor and a privilege to introduce Lily Ebert. Your maiden name was Englman. We're here in your beautiful apartment here in Hendon, in London. And Lily, thank you so much for having us this afternoon.
You are really very welcome. I am really appreciate it.
Well, it's the greatest honor and privilege, really. If you could just, Lily, mention a little bit about your background, who your parents were, and I know you were born in Bonnyard. If you could mention a little bit about when you grew up and how life was before the Shoah.
Yeah. Before the Shoah,
Yeah.
I was living first of all, we were 6 children, 4 girls, 2 boys. I am the oldest. We lived my name is Englman, my family name. We lived in a relatively, before the war, a very nice life. Very big family. Aunties, uncles, cousins, a very big family and a very close family. 1 second. Our family, we were 6 children, 4 girls and 2 boys.
And you were born in 1923?
Yeah, but you don't have to say, right?
And you look so much younger. You look, Lily, you look amazing. And Lily, did you grow up in a religious family? In a frum family, a religious family?
A very, very Orthodox family. In Bonnyard it was really, what happens? 2 communities. One the Orthodox, one the Reformed, one the Neolog. Say that, I think most the Neolog, I am sure, were also some rabbis, they were also quite frum. But the Orthodox community, that was really a very, very special community. So special that I think in whole Hungary, it was not a big town, but everybody knew. When I say Bonnyard, everybody knows. It was a very, very frum, modern state, not Hasidic, but a modern Jewish community.
And growing up, you went to a Jewish primary school?
The primary, we have 2 primary schools. One for the one for the Orthodox, one for the Neolog. So we have, the primary school was a very, very, very frum school.
And where did your parents come from? Were they many generations in Hungary?
Now my parents, for my mother's side, were all Rabbonim. My grandfather was the censor Rav. So, and all going back to Toisves Yontev, all were Rabbonim.
To Toisves Yontev? Wow, that's big yichus, wow.
I went in Poland, and when I went there, luckily, we find Toisves Yontev where he is buried, in the cemetery.
Wow. And your father's family?
My father's family, mine, not great, more back than great-grandfather. It was in Bonhard a nice Jewish family. But a few Jews, for them it was not frum enough, and they went out from the community and established a very Orthodox family. From there, one of them was my great or great-great-grandfather, Englman. So it was a very, very big, established family. It was in Bonhard, it was in Szombathely, it was in Budapest. It was a very big family, and very frum family. No, but not Hasidim.
And Lily, what did your father do?
My father was a businessman.
And growing up, did you have any encounters with the non-Jewish children, or?
Yes. We played with them before the war.
And there was...
They needed us, we needed them. Say, in this time, milk, how you get milk? You went to the milking.
Mm-hmm.
There you saw their children. So we know each other really, and every week, twice a week, Tuesday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Friday was market. Then they bought everything they know the Jews needed. We bought for them everything, so we needed each other. And they came in our shop and they bought everything there. So I don't know how much love it was, because I don't think love, but
you got on. You got on.
We got on.
And did you ever have any anti-Jewish feeling or anti-Semitic when you were growing up? Any incidents or?
What tell you? Normally, not so much, but the boys sometimes Jews, so they were a bit nasty, but some outstanding thing don't happen. We tried to live in peace together. Why you don't take the chair and sit down?
So I just went, yes, you got a very
Sorry
beautiful...
that I say you should take it, because...
Lily, you have a very beautiful picture of your parents. Very
I can go
picture.
from here.
No, Lily, it's very good. Lily, can I just ask, do you remember when the war started? Hungary, in the beginning of the war, it didn't...
I don't remember the minute. It was Erev Rosh Hashanah. I remember the second word. And how?
Do you remember what happened?
The first day,
Yeah.
it was, we heard only that something, but we had not, we wouldn't even imagine how it will develop, what this war was. That you cannot with words explain. That was unbelievable. But when it started, we knew it starts something. But how it will develop, was terrible thing. When the war started, when in Hungary, I remember, it was already, it is unbelievable, 70% more or less, the Jewish population for Europe were not alive anymore. And in Hungary, we didn't know it. We relatively we lived in peace. I even cannot understand it today, today's world, when you a minute later you know everywhere what happened.
Yeah.
But it was not like that. Maybe in Budapest they know already more, I don't know. But we in Bonyard know.
You didn't know?
No.
And it came very late. It came very near the end
And
of the
they
war.
came, the war was over already.
It was in 44.
It was in 44. So in 44, the wars were over. And then killed that, I don't know. Sometimes I get so angry. Why? Because they could have done something. They closed their eyes or what happened, I don't know. I don't know, I cannot say, but they killed what people, what Raboni, what communities. In Bonyard, alone this Bonyard community, what I know. So close, Shomri Shabbos, all doors, all kosher, everything. I remember sliches, when the people get up, and Shabbos one knocking on the doors in 3 o'clock in the morning to go. And this community, they killed after the war, really. The war was already over.
So Lily, I know it's difficult, but can you just maybe just reminisce a little bit what happened when the Germans came in? Do you remember when they came in?
Yeah, I remember when they came in. But we know that they came first to Budapest, and then from there they went everywhere, every town, every town, bigger town. I remember when they came to Bonyard, the Nazis, they took the Jewish, they went in, came in our homes, took everything, and then on the end, one day they said, after a few months, maybe, when they were already there, they said one day, all the Jewish people have to go to the railway station. They brought from everywhere, say the people who were mentally ill people, from these homes also, and every Jews, where they were anywhere, and they took us first in ghettos. They put us in, we had to go out from our nice homes. They put us in the worst part from the country, from Bonyard, from the town, from the cheapest part, and put us in a few houses only. Oh, sorry, before that, the first thing was we had to wear yellow stars. That was the first thing. Then we could not go out of the streets after 6 o'clock shopping, only when the Christian finished the shopping, every day something else. And on the end, but we thought even then, because we don't knew one thing, the war is over. The war was really over already. But what we did not know, that 70–80% from the Jewish population in the country, in Hungary, were not alive anymore. They killed the Jewish population.
And your family didn't know? It didn't...
Then was the communication not like today.
And how long did you stay in the ghetto? In these houses?
Not very long in the ghetto, because they had no time on. Then, how I say, the war was over, so they had to work, and they know something. They have to work very quick, because if not, they will not finish us. Because our town, they went from upside, from the north, very systematically. What we did not know, when they came to Bonyhard, we were in the south. We were, I think, the last town or one before. And then first get to, and successive, first going out from the home, going in a ghetto. When we were in the ghetto, they know how to work, then they know we were together. They don't have to look, here one Jew, there a Jew, we were together. Now we can work, we can send them to the camp. They know what they want. Send them to the camp. That was their aim, sending them to different camps. And one of the worst was where they sent me with my family and with all the town people to Auschwitz. I survived Auschwitz.
And you remember going on the train?
No, the train. It was very hot somewhere. They put it, you could not, where you had to sit down, you could not move. They put in 2 buckets, one with water, one for human waste, men, women, children, babies, dirty babies who mother have to feed still. They're crying for food, the mother had no food to give for the babies. That you cannot explain. Before we arrived even to Auschwitz.
And it was in cattle trucks, they put you...
Cattle, of course cattle, we sit on the floor. No banks or nothing, cattle truck.
And they never brought food or water?
They opened few times, they took out the dead, because a few people, children, old people died in every wagon.
And you didn't know where you were going, even at this time?
Even this time, they said they took us to a place we young people will work, and look after the old one and the children. But they didn't do that it should be our life is here. They wanted for them that we should be easily coming and they should not have problem with us.
And Lily, how long was the journey? Do you remember? Was it a few days?
We went in a week. We went in Shabbos and up to the next Sunday.
Must have been horrendous. It must have been terrible, this journey. And eventually when you got to Auschwitz?
We were not, first of all, we were already half dead. And then we had not the faintest idea where we arrived. We didn't know what Auschwitz is. Auschwitz, how can I say? It is now people cannot even understand when I tell. I don't know and how to tell it. Auschwitz was really a factory. They built a factory. A factory to kill people, to death. They made it a crematorium where they worked out, because they tried before shooting people. They find it is too slow. We cannot do quick enough. We will not finish the Jewish population like that. So what they did, they built gas camera. And forgot, like today, the rats, people, even not that, because they are also a bit more human. That is what they did.
And Lily, I know it's difficult, but what happened when you got off the train? When you eventually got off the train? They separated the family?
When we get on the train, we traveled together. When we arrived, there it was a man standing with a stick in his hand. Dr. Mengele, have you heard about him? Yeah. That divided the people. That divided the young, old, together, young and very young and old, and the people, the young people who could work still. First the end aim, finish all of us, but the German men, most were on the front. They needed also workers, factories, fields, everything had to work. So young people who could work, they divided it. It was selections. They left the young people like me. I arrived with my mother, with my 3 sisters, and with one of my brothers. The younger brother and the younger sister were still young. Who were younger, say, than 12, 13, they straight took to the crematorium. They don't need that. The older people also, they left us alive. The aim was not that I should not be down more than 75 years later and tell my story. The aim was to take out that much work for us and then kill us. But the aim was that no one Jew should survive.
And Lily, you didn't know what was happening, but they separated your mother and your mother and...
They took the mama, they were selections all the time. Selections. Because the crematorium had to work day and night. when then transport came, then was the selection for the transport. Then the people who were there already in Auschwitz, we worked there or do what we did. But when it finished the selections, then selected the people who were there already. And from there they took the people who were older or younger, who were good for work.
So Lily, from your family, when you came off the train, you and your sisters...
I came, luckily, my father died in Bonyhard, and he is buried there. Now I say, luckily died my father. But we came with my mother.
How did your father die?
He got ill. And then it was not these medicines.
But
and he died.
He has a kever. He has a...
I have, in Bonyhard, I have the kever, yeah.
And so you were with your mother and your sisters?
My mother, my three sisters, and one of my younger brother. My older brother was taken to slave labor. Luckily, most slave labor, they took to Russian. Who took to Russian, no one survived. Or from hunger or from cold. Luckily, these ones, was the last transport. They could not take out from Hungary, so they were slave labor, could not take out from Bonyhard, so from Bonyhard they took us from Page, and we get out. So he survived. Luckily, my older brother survived.
And your mother and your younger brother?
Younger brother and sister were killed straight when we arrived to Auschwitz.
With your mother?
Yeah.
And your mother's...
We arrived with my...
It must have been... You didn't know when they made the selection what it meant. Nobody...
In the first selection, we don't. Because they said, they will look after the old, the young, that is, and we will work there.
And did they put a tattoo? Did they put it?
Not then.
It was too late. It was near the end of the war.
Not then. I have a tattoo, but not them put it on. They put it in Auschwitz. Not in Auschwitz. Wait a second. From Auschwitz. I don't know exactly.
It could have been when you arrived.
Because from Auschwitz they took us to slave labor.
Lily, and what was, do you know the number of the tattoo?
10,572. We were not humans, we were a number.
And Lily, were you together with your sisters?
With two of my sisters. Yeah, two younger sisters. I looked after them.
Because you were the oldest?
I am the oldest in the family.
And Lily, what was it like in Auschwitz? I'm sorry to ask you, but it's so...
What is, when you cannot sleep, you sleep on a straw, when you are lucky, or without, on wood, in so-called bed. They were not bed, three-tier beds.
Bunks.
I don't know how many like sardinium.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot wash. You cannot change because you change the dress, nothing. You are full with the lies. How you explain. How can I explain? And you ask me to explain that. How can you?
And what did you have to do in the day?
And
Did they make you work?
yeah, some different work or no work, because they had not so much work, but they know they needed, the crematorium had to work, so that they who didn't work and were weak, they killed simple.
So, wait, Lily, so what did you do during the day?
I with my two sisters, we worked in the Nähstube sewing, because the German soldiers, and they needed the uniform, so we were sewing or mending things for the Germans.
And I'm sure
And from there, when the front came too near, they don't want that we should survive there. Then they took us, they sent us to, I will look up. I don't know it is. This happened more than 70 years ago. And then I worked in an ammunition factory with my sisters.
And what happened with your younger brother?
Younger brother.
Your younger brother, he was with your sister and your mother. They were immediately taken.
When we arrived,
They were immediately taken.
Then I didn't know,
But did
only
you,
later.
When did you know about your younger brother and your mother and sister?
Later find out only.
It must have been devastating when you found out. What?
Could I help?
And all during this time, Lily, the food, you must have been so hungry. Everybody was so hungry, they hardly...
The trouble is, we women say, and we were not so big eaters, but quite a few men, mostly men, died from hunger.
Yeah.
Because for them, this food was even not a snack. This food, it was nothing. A little piece of bread, a very small piece of margarine, that was it. It was impossible to, people thought all the time only one thing, hunger. And hunger, die from hunger, is terrible.
And when you went to the ammunition factory, did they give you a bit more food, or were the conditions a little bit better?
Food, also very little, also there. They also don't give. But that was that we had in an ammunition factory a very narrow bed with straw mattress, straw pillow, and a blanket. That was, and the big thing was what we had, because explained it, go to the bathing, and to go in the toilets. There were not toilets, there were big, with holes.
Pits.
With holes. And people together can go, and when we could go. How explain that?
And Lily, was the ammunition factory in Germany?
Ammunition factory was in Germany, it was not far from Leipzig. The name was
Okay, doesn't matter. But was it the conditions a little bit better in the ammunition factory?
yeah, a little bit better, because they wanted that we can work.
That you can work.
But twice a day, morning and evening, that was in Auschwitz, that we had to Zählerper.
That's the roll call.
They have to count us. So standing in sun, in rain, what it was, sometimes hours, sometimes less, as long as the number, they know, say we had to be 1,000. Then when it was not 1,000, one was missing, say, then begin for a whole day long even. As long as they were the numbers. And when somebody died, they put it down and they counted together with us. No, you cannot understand this. And I hope it will never ever happen again. But it happened in civilized world in 21st century. And that is how deep people can go.
Go down.
Down, go down.
And Lily, how long were you in the ammunition factory? Were you there till the liberation?
We were taken away from Auschwitz. I think it was Simchas Torah, and we were there up to April 13th.
And this is really 1945, and Germany's losing the war, and they still...
The war was already lost.
Yeah.
Not them losing.
But they
The
were
war
still,
was lost.
they still put all the efforts into killing the Yidden.
That was their aim. Their aim was killing all the Jews.
And what do you remember of the liberation? Who came to liberate, or what happened?
The American liberation. Before they took us to a death march. Have you heard about the death march? We walked. The trouble was most people had no shoes, half dead, walking day and night. If somebody could not carry on, it was a simple solution. They shot it. They shot them if somebody sit down and could not carry on.
And this death march was in Germany?
That death march was near Leipzig, not far from Leipzig.
And can I ask you, Lily, when you were on the death march,
Yeah.
you passed through German towns. Did you see any of the German citizens, any of the German
Yeah.
people? And didn't they...
They looked.
They didn't come and say, here's some food, or let's...
It were a few were thrown a bit of bread. A few, I don't know how, a few, but
So this was, people could see, it was in the public. It was,
of course, we went through towns.
And how many days were you on the death march?
I don't know exactly, 4 or 5.
It's unbelievable, you know, it's impossible to comprehend. It's so unbelievable to even...
The only thing was that we were young. But
And when the Allies came, who came to save you? Or
the Americans.
And you remember your
Yeah.
first encounter?
Yeah, that the other problem. When they saw, they don't know. We were marching, and the Americans come. Americans have not the faintest idea about it. They don't know what they saw. Because we don't look no girls, no boys, not humans. They get a terrible shock, and they tried what they had to give us to eat. But this heavy food, when we have not days what to eat, after when we are fasting a day, after we try slowly. And what these soldiers have? Heavy food. So they try to give us, but the trouble was quite a few people died from the food. Then they didn't know people that you should not.
And Libby, how...
Yeah,
Libby,
you don't understand,
Libby,
I know.
How old were you at this time?
What?
How old were you at the end of the death march?
How old was it? I was 20. And my two younger sisters, you looked after my two younger sisters.
How old were they?
15 and 17.
But when you saw the American soldiers, it must have been like a miracle.
Yeah, but we were already numb for not eating. It was not important anymore. Believe we don't. It is, you get numb. You cannot think you.
And then what happened when you were liberated?
They put us. What could they do with us? There were not social workers. There were soldiers in a strange place, and these people. But they put us in the houses. Quite a few Germans run away because they were afraid that they will get back what they are doing. So they run away. Who stayed, they put us in their houses or empty houses. And we were there in Germany. As long as came. Have you heard about Rabbi and their names I have now forgotten. But they came, and then a few Jews, and they liberated us. No, but that was, I mentioned that march.
Yeah.
So that was on the end. Yeah, they came a few. The Americans came. The Americans liberated us.
And you stayed in the houses for how long? How long were you roughly?
A few weeks or a few months. I don't remember exactly. And then from there we went. They took us to Buchenwald. We were the Buchenwald children. And from Buchenwald, then we went to Germany, took us to Germany. And from then, and we went then to Detmarsch. And on the way, they wanted to kill us, all of us. But on the way, the Americans came and they liberated us. And then we were, after that, the Jewish people took over and they looked after us.
And did you go back to Bonnyard or did you go back to Hungary?
For what? I know I will not find anybody. I know what happened.
Your brother, maybe?
Maybe, mother, no, it was no way. Then I knew already that is, maybe I thought, maybe my brother, my older brother, they were not with us. He was in slave labor. I don't know, most who they took out from Hungary, from Russia, no one survived, no one. The group, this all, Baruch Hashem, all of them, this group of people, they stayed in Hungary and they survived. So like my older brother survived.
And when did you see your elder brother?
That is another story. We didn't know what happened. I then went, luckily we were sent to, I went to Switzerland. I was in Engelberg. Have you heard about the Engelberg people? Because who survived after the war, the Jews wanted to give us homes, but it was from the no different organization, Shomer HaTzair, Aguda. So I and with my sister went to Agudat Israel. They took us to Engelberg. And then they looked after us, the Jewish people, the Aguda. And from there then we went to Switzerland, to Engelberg. And from Engelberg, I went, most people who had some relatives in America or anywhere tried to go there. I had no relatives and I don't want it. We wanted to go to Israel. So we went to Israel.
So you went, and this is under the it was British mandate.
I went to Israel. I was in Israel there.
This was before 48, before independence.
Before 48, of course. I went to Israel the day I was there in Israel when Israel was liberated, that day.
In 1948. And you went with your sisters?
Yeah.
And when did you hear about your brother?
Wait a minute, I will have to think.
Lily, you are amazing. You are incredible. I must tell you, it's just unbelievable.
They happened 75 years ago.
It's amazing.
So I have to think. I tried with the Red Cross. My brother luckily survived. He went home, in our home where we lived, because he thought maybe, just maybe somebody survived. So he went home, he was there a few months, and he saw nobody is here. wait a second, no, no, he was liberated in Arad. Arad was in Romania, Hungary. That is an unbelievable story happened. He went out one night and two girls came to him near and they said, "We have seen your sisters, you know?" And he said, "What?" And she said, "What is the, what?" He could not believe it. He asked, "What is their name?" And they said our name. So they say, they said, the girls, "The name, we don't," he said the name, but he said, "Where are they?" He said, "I saw them where it was." That is he said at the town where he was, where we were. So he wanted to go to Israel. He didn't want to stay anymore when he heard, he hasn't heard about us. So he went, he was then in Romania already to go to Israel. There he heard. Then he went back to Bonyard. He thought when we are alive, maybe we will go home. He didn't find us, so he went a few months later to the town from where he can go to Israel. And then he find, somebody go to him and they say, "I saw your sisters." And he said, "Where are they?" And then, you know, we are here somewhere in Europe. Then he changed the plan, and then he went home again, waiting us that we will, if we are alive, then we will come maybe home. We didn't come, but then I tried with the Red Cross to look after him. He did the same, tried with the look after, maybe we are alive. And one day I came, a telegraph, where is the telegraph? About my brother. He went back to Hungary. But now there was another problem. Have you heard about the Iron Curtain?
When it became communist.
And he could not come out. So he was, and I went with my two sisters to Israel, but he was, what could he do? He could not come on. So he went, he stayed in Hungary, he worked, he was a dentist up to 56. In 56, when it was a few days, the revolution, then he packed it, then he had already 2 children, he packed the children, he had already, in Hungary, he was already at home, some home. He left everything, took the children and came, and through Wien, he was in Sopron, that is near to Wien. He went to Wien, from there he came to Israel.
And he came with his wife?
He came with his wife and with family. Then he had 2 girls, already the boys, so 2 girls and 1 boy.
And did he remain religious? your brother?
And how?
That's amazing, because under communists it wasn't so simple to remain religious.
Yeah,
It was very difficult to remain religious.
yeah.
Wow.
But he grew up in a home that,
Sure. And Lily, when you got the telegram that your brother was still alive, it must have been very emotional for you, knowing that your brother survived.
because I know that now he's there, and I knew already if somebody, only he can be. And luckily he saw. They took these young boys for soldiers. Luckily, this group of boys, a few boys, didn't took out from Hungary.
Yeah.
They were there. And he said then after the war, luckily, who looked after them, it was a soldier, a Christian. He was a nice man. And he looked after them.
And Lily, how was your encounter when you saw him in 1956? What was the feeling?
With family then. It was not wrong, it was
But how did you feel when you met him?
unbelievable. And then in Israel he went live in Jerusalem. He was a dentist. In Israel everybody knew him. He was a famous dentist there.
Englman.
Englman.
And Lily, when you came to Israel, where did you go when you first came? Did they put you in a youth?
Have you heard where could I go? Without money,
Without anything.
without parents, without language, without anything. A young, where could I go? What could I do? Now that is another story. I went to kibbutz Hofetz Chaim. Have you heard?
I've been there, sure. And you were with your
This
sisters?
and this kibbutz was so poor. They said that was then. They said in this kibbutz, you eat a chicken, or you dies, or the chicken died.
Sure.
It was so poor, this kibbutz.
And you were with your sisters on the kibbutz?
Together, yeah. Kibbutz Hofetz Chaim.
And when did you meet your husband?
In 48, when it was Milchamat Hashkichlur.
The War of Independence.
Our Hassan was when Tel Aviv was bombarded. Don't ask.
So Lily, this is a picture of your chasana, if you can.
Yeah,
This is you.
that is me and my two sisters who I saw. That is my elder sister and my younger. And that is my husband.
And was your husband also a survivor?
My husband was not a survivor, but in 38, black, it went to Israel. The trouble took 3 months. But he was not a survivor.
And where were you married, Lily?
In Bnei Barak in Tuftan.
Can I have I just want to, this is a beautiful picture, sure. It must have been a most incredible chasana. And who was the Rav that married you? Do you remember the rabbi that married you, the Rav?
Yeah, Rabbi Landau from Bnei Barak. You know, you heard?
Sure. It must have been very joyous to have to have had the chasana.
And you know who was there? Was again? Maybe not there, I say. No, maybe, I don't know. No. And then I lived near, I told you before, near the Hazon Ish. And after I got married, I had already children. And every year, Erev Rosh Hashanah, we went to Ponyavish, the Ponyavish Rav. The Ponyavish Rav is the Sunday for my son.
That was Rav Kahneman.
Right. He was an unbelievable person. Unbelievable.
He had a very close connection with the South African Jewish community. And here is your husband and his father.
And his father.
And this was taken in Yerushalayim. Yeah. Yeah, the picture says Yerushalayim. Sure. Was this before he was married?
No.
It was after.
After. He came after to Israel. Mm-hmm. They came later. The father and the mother came later to Israel.
And can I just ask, Lily, how come you came to live in England? Why did you leave Israel to come and live in England?
Oh, no. I have to look. We wanted that my oldest daughter goes here in university. And we wanted to look where he will go, where he will live here. With my late husband. We came to holiday. He get ill in Israel. And then we said he will go for a few weeks to Switzerland. When we were already there, then he said, "No, we look where she will go to study." And then he get ill, and the doctor said he cannot travel. He get very ill, and they said he cannot travel now, at least for 1 year. And like that we stayed there here in England. But then the children were already in school there. We don't want it again to interrupt them. And like that we stayed. We never thought that. We never wanted to go away from Israel.
And what did your husband do, work-wise? What profession did your husband do? What type of work?
On the end, he worked on the Israeli Stock Exchange.
And here we have a picture, it's amazing, with Menachem Begin, and it's signed by Menachem Begin. And this was taken in London.
Yeah, when he was there.
Uh-huh. And your two sisters, did they remain in Israel? Your two sisters, they remained?
My two sisters lived in Bnei Barak. One of them died a few years ago already, the elder, but my younger sister lives in Rehov Rashi.
In Bnei Brak?
In Bnei Barak.
Sure. So, and Lily, there's a beautiful picture.
They did the most famous photographer in England. Rankin, have you heard the name?
Very famous.
He did it.
So, Lily, I want to ask you, you went through so much and you saw so much, but you, Baruch Hashem, you remained from. You remained from. Did you always keep emunah? Did you always keep your faith?
Yes.
Even though you saw unbelievable and unimaginable things, you always kept your emunah.
I saw my parents would not like we were all the time.
You never doubted It's amazing. It's unbelievable.
Because I say them for people, not God did that, humans did that.
Humans did it, yeah. People say, where was Hashem or where was God? But the question is, where was man? Where was mankind?
But it is very dangerous to ask these questions because this is very difficult to understand, but we don't know everything. We have a lot of questions, but who said that we have answers to all the questions?
That's so true. And Lily, what message do you impart to your children and grandchildren and to the future generations? What message do you give?
Now I want to tell you something. Thank God. Thank God. All my children, grandchildren are frumpy, all of them, Baruch Hashem.
Baruch Hashem. Wow.
And that is a very special present. And never, what a message you give, never ever give up one thing, hope. Because when you hear my story, you can see that from how low you can go, you can get again up. And I am Baruch Hashem, you see what I do still. I am not the youngest, but I do still a lot of work for the community.
It's amazing. So Lily, I really want to thank you. Lily, I just want to thank you so much.
You are.
I am so grateful to you. There are no words. Lily, there are no words. I am so incredibly grateful.
And
you are an inspiration for everyone. You are just something unbelievable.
I don't believe.
I am so privileged to have met you.
You know what I say. Thank God that you give me the call and I can do it.
It's amazing. And it's so important what you do. Lily, you are just unbelievable. And I'm so incredibly grateful to you. And you should just have Mazel Brocha and Meivesrim.
Thank you
and nachas from your children, grandchildren, and continue. You are an inspiration to the whole world. Not only to the Yidden, to everybody, to the whole world. Somebody who has witnessed the horrors, the unimaginable horrors, who can be so positive and so, there are no words. It's incredible.
Thanks.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Wow, you are amazing. There is no one like you. Lily, there is no one like you.
No one is like to anybody else.
Thank you so much. These are the pictures of your dear parents.
Yeah.
And how did you manage to save? How did you manage to get these pictures?
My brother went back to Hungary and he find them. They're thrown out. These are the pictures from the Jews from Bonhard. And you find them.
And they were thrown out and he managed to find them. And this is an original picture?
That is the original picture. Or that is the made. No.
And this was before the Shoah? This was before?
Yeah. But I have inside the original picture by chance.
And how old are you in this picture? How old were you?
That is not me.
Who's this picture of?
That is my youngest sister,
Your youngest
who
sister.
hasn't survived.
Oi, this is a picture of your younger sister.
Interesting, you are not the first one who think that is me. That was my youngest sister.
Phew. You know, may all the memories be for eternal blessing. All your sister and your brother, those that didn't survive, may the memories be for eternal
Not all.
blessing. I know.
My two youngest brother and youngest sister hasn't survived.
Lily, thank you so much. So Lily, this is the original picture that was taken, and it's during the War of Independence.
In Bnei Barak.
And no photographer wanted to come from Tel Aviv.
No. For no money they would come. For us, we lived in Tel Aviv, and to find a taxi who would take us home, nobody wanted to take. It was dangerous to travel. You never knew when they bombarded.
And here's the picture at your chasana. Wait, so you must just celebrate many chasanas of your grandchildren, and you should only have smachot, only smachot.
Thanks.
Lily, the necklace that you're wearing, it went through Auschwitz?
This medal, not that.
The medal. And what is it?
Oh,
a
maybe
medal
the
of?
other side is even more interesting, but it is not the good. This necklace was, okay, put it on and then I talk.
Okay.
This little necklace, pendant, I get from my late mother when I was 4 or 5 years old. How it survived, and that survived Auschwitz, how it survived. My brother put it in the heel for my mother's shoe. When we arrived in Auschwitz, I remember the days even, it was Shabbos. And Sunday, I took it out from I put it in the shoe for my mother here. But I don't know why. We were straight in the train. Shabbos, my mother said we should change shoes. We had the same size shoe, and we did it. So I had my mother's shoes with this gold.
And you didn't know that the pendant was in.
My mother wanted to change. She said we should change shoes. It must have come to, I don't know. So we changed. So I have the shoe, and in Auschwitz they took away everything. Our shoe, why they didn't took away, because I think we were the last transport from Hungary, and looks like they gave these Holland, these wooden shoes.
The clogs.
The clogs. But they took away everything from us, only not the shoes. So I had the shoes, and in the shoe it was this little gold. But in Auschwitz, the heel was torn off the shoe. I had not a piece of paper, nothing. We had nothing. So where could I keep it? I put it every day in the piece of bread what we get, and like that it should survive.
It's a miracle.
And really I keep that. You can see from this side, that's what how my brother put it in the heel of the shoe and how the nail went in.
I can see, sure. And on the other side? What is it a medal of?
It is an angel, they say.
An angel. Wow. And it's gold?
Yeah.
Lily, it's incredible that you kept it through, not only that, in the ammunition factory, on the death march, that you kept it. It's just unbelievable. Well, you should hand it down, and it should be in your family for Adorot, for many, 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 many generations.
I am not sure I will keep it in the family, or I will give it to an organization.
Maybe you should keep it in the family.
I keep it in.
But
so in an organization, more people would appreciate it.
I don't know.
Maybe.
It's up to you, but it's something so dear and so special.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, Lily, thank you so much. And you always wear this on you. It's always...
Yeah, I never take it off.
Lily is overwhelmed by the reunion. We all are. 10 words of hope. On Sunday morning, I post a tweet. Yesterday, my great-grandma showed me this banknote, given to her as a gift by a soldier who liberated her. Inscribed it says, "A start to a new life. Good luck and happiness." I tag a few organizations that might be interested. Then I mute my phone and set off for shore with my dad. A few hours later, I look at my phone again. I've got 8,000 notifications on Twitter. Scrolling through, I realize that the Auschwitz Memorial Museum, which has over 1 million followers, has retweeted my post. By the afternoon, it has gone viral. It's turning into an international hunt for the mystery soldier. When my tweet hits 1 million views, Mum and I show Lily the replies. We're blown away by the response. It feels unreal. Then at 4:20 p.m., 8 hours after I posted the original tweet, someone sends me a picture of an old photograph of a young man in a soldier's uniform. A couple of army dog tags lie over this picture. The tweet says, "The assistant to Rabbi Schachter." I try to stay calm. The rabbi probably had loads of assistants, I say. How can we be sure this one was Lily's soldier? Suddenly a direct message arrives from the same person with a link to a New York Times article from 2015 about Hyman Schulman and some letters he wrote to his wife, Sandy, during the war. One letter begins with these chilling words. "Yesterday we visited something that you might have already read about in the newspaper. Not very far from here there is a concentration camp, Buchenwald." I quiz Safta. I don't remember her talking much about Buchenwald. That's because we were only there for a few weeks, she explains. The Hebrew letters written on the banknote spell out something close to a transliteration of the soldier's name. Hi Yom Shulman. Hyman Schulman. My guess is that he didn't know that much Hebrew, but the language was an important connection between them. So you think this is the man who gave you the banknote? Yes. Let's see if the handwriting matches up, suggests my grandfather. Herman's correspondence with his wife lay in a box in their attic for decades. Then an online arts hub, POBA, set up to preserve creative legacies, had scanned lots of Hyman's letters and published a selection online. My grandfather and I spent hours looking at them, comparing them with the message on the banknote. No doubt about it, the handwriting is identical. Lily is amazed. "You said 24 hours. We found him in 8. We learned that Hyman died in 2013. Lily's sad to learn of his death. Sandy has also recently died. Shall we contact his family anyway, I suggest? One of the POBA's founders was a friend of Hyman's daughter-in-law, Arlene. So we start with her. It turns out she's an artist. We find her website and I compose a message on the contact form. For Arlene and her husband Jason, Hyman's son, and news comes out of the blue. At first, Jason isn't even convinced that we're right. His father never mentioned any such encounter. Then he sees the banknote. I was deeply moved and must admit I was shaken by seeing my father's handwriting and his kind words on the banknote, Jason writes back to us. The following weekend we meet on a video call. Arlene and Jason are in New Jersey and Lily is in London. 4 generations of us in all. Your father showed me there was good in humanity and gave me hope for a better future, Lily tells Jason. I've looked after his note all this time because it was so special for me. Unbelievable. I wanted to keep it always. Jason tells us about his efforts to get his father to talk about the past. He was a very special man. He did a lot for people after the war, but it affected how he was with his family and all of us. Lily is overwhelmed by the reunion. We are all. We arranged to meet again. We have an unbreakable connection.
And here's a picture of the banknote. And this is a picture of Private Hyman Shulman, who's one of the very first Americans to enter Buchenwald, and he gave Lily the banknote, which she has kept.
So what are you doing with all this information?
Lily, do you still have the banknote?
What?
You have the banknote? You have this banknote?
Yeah, but the trouble is not here. It is my grandson wants to look after it.
But here's a
It
picture
is by
of it.
him, but I have it.
What an amazing story. Another miracle. Your life is full of miracles.
Because I look
Nissim,
after
Nissim and Niflat.
everything.
Yeah.
I keep everything. That's what I have.
Lily, thank you so much. And
You're
Libby, thank
welcome.
you so much.
No, write down.
So Lily, this is a picture with you with Prince Charles
Yes.
and your grandson.
Yeah.
When was it taken?
He and we were in the parliament. In the no. Wait a second.
In the
Yeah.
palace.
In Buckingham Palace.
Not in Buckingham Palace, in Prince's home.
And
Not in-
and how long ago was it done?
2 weeks ago, 3
2
weeks ago.
Phew.
That is, who is that also one for the... That is not interesting. Oh yeah, do you know who is? He's also is a minister. It is a very good minister for the Jews. That is my 2 younger sisters. That is my family picture.
It's a beautiful picture. Sure.
That is the last picture before the war, just the last.
Wait, Lily, this is the last picture that you took before the war.
Yeah, just the last.
And here it's you, your elder brother.
Only my younger brother is not here. He had to go he was in the cheder. He didn't want to come home for a picture.
And you don't have a picture of your younger brother.
No.
But there's a picture of your sister,
Yeah.
your younger sister.
That somebody made it.
And this is a picture with you and a book of Boneyard.
Yeah.